Hi, I'm Maisa Jacobs. This is Medium Smart. Welcome back to the Medium Smart podcast. I'm Maisa in Georgia. Thank you so much for your like. Thank you so much for your share, for your listen, for your conversation about the podcast. I really appreciate it. I was looking for something, I have a lot of varied skills and talents and interests, and I'm a wild one, right? So I'm out here as I go through life. I love to share the information that I have. I am, I'm trying to figure out how to put all these skills into income for myself that is not traditional income because I want to live a more mobile life. And so, business developer has come up, some sort of salesperson, but I don't want to go and have to do that for a corporation or for somebody else. But, I guess I'm kind of doing it for myself. And so, I love a list. Let me tell you, I love a list. I love the best brunch list. I love the best, boutique hotel list. I love the best coffee maker list, Zester. I love a list. And so when I look for lists of jobs to have, of course, customer service rep for a healthcare business or, whatever, this or that, sell an ebook, sell an online course, start a podcast. So that's what I've done. This is the Medium Smart podcast, and I thank you for joining. The name comes from a Downton Abbey moment between Mary and Liz. Damn, I keep forgetting that woman's Anna. Anna. It's a conversation between Mary and Anna. Mary has the opportunity to go flirting. And so Anna, her helper, asks her, how do you want to present yourself? And so she says, medium smart. And so that's how they pack her bag for the weekend. And the phrase has always stuck with me. I love a medium smart way of life. And so that's what I'm presenting to you. Come on. In no way am I belittling or simplifying, but it's cute, medium smart. So, and I just found out that a new Downton Abbey movie is coming out at some point. I will pay more attention and get the deets for our Downton Abbey listeners. One of my all-time favorite series. If you're looking for something to watch, Prime and we have all these streaming services, but, I don't know that once you are done with the up-to-date stuff, what's left? You got to shift through a whole bunch of yuck from years past. So I give Downton Abbey all the thumbs up. Such a just really well-crafted, beautiful series to watch, and great stories, great storylines. I really believe that the actors, half of being good in a show and what makes a show is the actors behind these characters. I believe that these human beings are living in this world that I am watching, even if it doesn't make sense. Game of Thrones, I'm looking at you, my God. Such an epic show. Such an epic show. And so I'm actually binging The Righteous Gemstones. That Danny McBride, just a talent, just a gem, just a gem. I don't know much about him beyond it's ridiculous. I have menopause brain. We'll talk about that at some point. We'll talk about menopause brain and just all that shortly. Eastbound and Down, I think, was that show about he was a baseball player and going through the life of that. So I am binge watching The Righteous Gemstones. Just fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. These actors are perfect. These storylines, the just funny. Just absolutely funny. My sweetheart and I were watching TV, and Walter Goggins is having his moment after The White Lotus, another great show. He's having his moment, and so he's getting that promotions money, Walmart. And my sweetheart is like, that's not Walter Goggins, or however you say his name anymore. That's little baby, whatever his name is on The Righteous Gemstones, because he plays the hell out of that role. Oh my God, so funny. So I am on season 2, and I hear that they wrapped they wrapped the series at season 4. Danny McBride wanted to end the show on his own terms, and I just really respect him. I can't wait to see what he does next. I never watched Vice Principal, so that's on my watch list now. But yeah, Downton Abbey, medium smart. That's where I got the name. Welcome to the pod. Episode number 5. And so I've kind of teased it, but I've left Los Angeles, right, for the second time. And so we're going to get into it. I hope the sound is okay. I'm in studio number 2, girl, which is our second bedroom's closet. Listen. One of the reasons why I left Los Angeles is because I'm just tired of continuously moving into apartments where I can clearly hear my neighbors. I think it's weird. I did not grow up like that. And, I'm not spending this money to have roommates. I am a person who enjoys living by myself. And I did not move in here to be roommates with these people. This is my sanctuary. This is my place to come to that is just my own in this world, in this life, in this town. And I set it up in a really nice way so that I can be comfortable to recharge. And these apartments in Los Angeles that we'll get into it. So I hope the sound is okay. I've been complaining about the upstairs neighbor. I was ready to record, and so I could hear them upstairs. And I don't want to continue to complain. And then a light went off. We have a second closet, so let's walk on over there. And let's check the sound. And so it might be a little hollow, but I think it's good. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Thank you for joining. Jessica's here with us too. Hopefully she'll be quiet. And I left Los Angeles again. When I talk about Los Angeles, to reiterate from last week's episode, I'm talking about not even Westwood, Beverly Hills, Culver City, and then on down through Hollywood, Midtown, Mid-Wilshire, West Adams, on down to Koreatown, Hollywood proper. So, no further than Sunset Hollywood Boulevard, and then you just continue on down, right? Koreatown, East Hollywood, Beverly Hills, just on down. Westlake, Pico Union, downtown Los Angeles. That's my Los Angeles. Uh, Los Feliz, Echo Park. That's my Los Angeles. I don't go in past Cahuenga unless I have to, which is the valley. I don't go beyond downtown Los Angeles, which is East LA, into Duarte, into maybe Covina. I don't even know the cities because I don't go. From as a child, I grew up in Santa Monica, so Malibu, Santa Monica, Venice Beach, Marina del Rey, Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach. That's where I grew up at, right? And then we would move into West LA, all the way into Westwood. Growing up, I spent a lot of time in Westwood. That was a spot where we would go for a little nightlife, go see a movie, go get the Falafel King. I've been eating falafel for a long time. I've been eating yogurt and fresh berries and granola and stuff, right? That California cuisine for an extreme amount of time. So that's how I grew up. That's where I grew up. And so in being a young adult, hanging out, those are the spots that I hung out in. In present day, those are the cities and areas and neighborhoods that I frequent on a regular basis. And I would like to be able to live in those spaces, but as it stands, I can not live the way that I wish to live in Los Angeles proper. And because I am unwilling to look at in other places, go further out, right? I decided to leave. This is not the first time I've done it. I left for the first time in probably 2001-ish, I feel like. I moved to the Bay Area. I am a creative. I want to live as a creative. I enjoy media, multimedia, video, and audio production. The television, movies and films are the same thing. But television and film industry, that's where I thrive. I like being a talent. I like being a principal talent. I like being on camera at times. And I love being on the mic. So I started my career as an on-air radio personality in the early 2000s. And through a series of events, including being able to visit a friend, an co-worker I had met at working at Paramount Studios in the late 90s. I worked at the Paramount Studio lot. I've worked there twice in my lifetime. And he had moved on to being an on-air radio talent in Monterey, California. And so he invited me to his station. I made my first on-air tape. And I just sourced where I wanted to work at. And really, there was only one place. It was a Quiet Storm R&B station. And that's where I applied to. And through another series of events, and a year later, I was hired. And I started my time weekends, overnights, midnight to 6 a.m. in the mornings, like Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And I had taken some classwork along the way at community colleges. And then I think I had also bought time years ago. I don't know if it's, through the LA Weekly or through some sort of whatever, I found out that you could buy, back of a newspaper somewhere, come buy time on this station. We have bandwidth or whatever the fuck. And so, I went to what kind of seemed like a seedy spot off of Sunset and Western area. And they had a little mini radio station set up. And so in buying time there and working with the staff members there, I started creating my own. Listen, I've been doing this. I almost want to cry. I've been doing this for a very long time. And so I bought time. And when I felt that I was ready, I moved on. And, I told a wild story about, and maybe it's not wild to you, I hope you find the funnies in it, but also you are not scared of your own shadow, because I'm not scared of my own shadow. And I think that's half of what I also want to share. In recent years and months and days, I turned 50 in September. And so my 49th year was just a reflection of my life and where I had been, celebrating where I've been, celebrating where I was, with an eye towards celebrating my future. And that's about another, hopefully 30 years I've got. And so how do I want to shape that? What is that? What do I want that to look like? And I wanted my relationships to change. I wanted my family dynamics to change. I wanted my business and social circles to change. And that includes no longer spending a lot of time with people who are afraid of their own shadow. It takes a lot from me to have to continue to show a grown-up how to deal in this world, or maybe how to do something a little, streamline it, when they don't necessarily want to do that, right? And so that's when you give people advice, but you don't take it personal if they don't take it. But at the same time, you're holding me back because you want me to hang out with you. And I don't want to hang out with you because you don't eat green food, or you won't take small airplanes, or you won't do what it takes to move to the next level of life. And I've had to let some folks go recently because of their shitty attitude towards me making the moves that I've made. And my moves are smart. My moves are right. And I've had to learn that my moves are for me and not for anybody else. And so I've become a little bit more private as well with my moves. And just really getting into me and honest and just where I want to be. And so I need to go back and remember how I got into that. Why I left Los Angeles. I wanted something different. And what Los Angeles, early 2000s, I moved to the Bay Area, started my career on air, and I was able to move from the weekend overnights into day parts, fill-in, hosting live shows, hosting, the Christmas parade every year, and going up to San Jose and hosting the San Jose Jazz Festival. And those were real treats for me. I excel in those moments and times. And during that time of living in the Bay Area, I was able to join in and help co-produce and co-host a show about the Bay Area. And so, just taking all these experiences. Jessica's, she wanted to leave the room, and so I let her, and I hope she's okay. We're going to open up the door and make sure that she's okay. She's fine. So I left Los Angeles because I couldn't live that type of life there, right? Los Angeles, in my opinion, celebrates popularity and not necessarily experience, realness, or authenticity. Year after year, the same people are being pushed towards us, and I'm just talking about a pop culture, and maybe it'll filter into, it does filter into other things. But for me, because I'm in the entertainment industry, this is what my focus is going to be. And so year after year, Hollywood is pushing the same movie plot to us. How many times can we do Superman? How many times can we do Mean Girls? How many times can we do, a whatever? It's the same humans being pushed on us year after year after year. And I'm bored. I just got tired of that. And knowing all of that I was doing for myself and still having a little bit of a little pushback is why I left. And I know that I can have, it's a big world out here. And that's the other thing that I want to stress. There's a world outside your window. And so where can you go to be who you want to be and flourish? And hopefully you don't have kids or a spouse or a whole bunch of chotskis to move. It's just you. You want to be able to do these things when it's just you. Or maybe you don't mind having to pack the kids and the chotskis and the spouse and the dog, But I move very small. I'm trying to plant roots now, but, I moved me and a dog from California to Georgia, and it was a lot. So, but I spent several years in the Bay Area until I was laid off, and I really enjoyed myself. I had a social life from Marin County, San Francisco. I hung out all the time, lived in Oakland, Berkeley, got my first tattoo, all the way down to San Jose, boyfriends in Fremont, San Jose. I always had somebody to date, and just good people, good food. I grew up eating Chinese food. I learned about Thai and Filipino food, and I just really had a great time. And I used that time kind of as like my college years, right? I did not go away to college. I did community college at the, SMC, Long Beach City College, LBCC. And then for a time I was living in Valencia or Santa Clarita. And so I was taking classes at LCC or something, at Valencia City College, whatever. And then I was able to do like a internship at the Beat. What was the Beat at the time? But I was in the promotions department, and when it came time to try and get hired in the programming, they didn't want to do it. And so that's why I left the first time. So yeah, got laid off around 2006 and took some time, I took some time to figure out what I wanted to do next, because I had kind of moved up there to because I wanted to, but also because of that job. I felt like, again, I didn't want to have to go to a Kentucky or an Indiana or a Minnesota or a Seattle or a Utah. I didn't want to have to go to a fuck ass town in order to get the experience I needed in radio. I wanted to, and it just happened to work out for me. But I know who I am. And so, I was able to kind of take a moment, a year, I was working, I don't know what I was doing, but, and then I decided to move to New York. I had some friends move to New York, and they were, I'd always wanted to be there. I am a New Yorker at heart. I move kind of quickly. I move succinctly. I don't want to hear your story. I want you to get to the fucking point so that I don't want you to game me. I don't need your story to game me or get my emotions. I want you to get to the crux of the situation so that I can make a decision on whether I'm down or not with whatever it is you've got going on. And that's really what it is. And so I had wanted to be in New York at some point in my life. I had the opportunity. I shared a story with you last week about how in the 90s I got to go and shared a story of my youthful days. And so I was kind of familiar. And so I was able in 2007 to go for a weekend. I popped in and got a feel for things. And so, yeah, in 2007 and 2008, I moved to New York. And I was there for about 3 years. Enjoyed my time, met some beautiful people. I still have some really nice friendships that came out of that. And came back to LA. When it was all said and done, I left New York to go back to Oakland and stayed there for a year to cool out. And then I came on back home to LA in 2012 because my family was here. But then also, it's Los Angeles. Everybody's trying to get here. Folks are clamoring to get here. I'm from here. Let's go home and see what we can get going. And in all this time that I've been back, it hasn't been much. It has not been much. I don't really have to reiterate too much. Folks were striking a few years ago. There's a reason, me trying to get back into the industry requires a lot of sucking up, a lot of social climbing, a lot of shitting on other people, perhaps to get to where I want to go, or, yeah. And I'm not that kind of person. I can't it's an act. And I can't and won't keep up an act. I don't feel like I should. I should be able to be my authentic self, which is someone who wants to show up, be of service. How can I put my talents to this, whatever? You work me a decent amount and then let me go home, pay me so that when I do go home and have a break, I can enjoy that time. And that's not what's happening. We're all clamoring for the same gig. From my point of view, I'm trying to be at the time was trying to be we'll say a principal talent. Well, we're all on the same 2 or 3 or 4 acting websites with our profiles uploaded. All these websites are making money from us. We're paying them in hopes of the opportunity to submit ourselves to production. You've made your money, we haven't made ours. Because if we're not selected, it's a monthly fee, you got our money already. So there's that scam going on. And as soon as I disconnect my profile, there's another one coming. So your money is secure, right? The posts, or there's only so many productions in this town. The actors and the talent far outweigh the productions and the roles that are available. So, I shared with you in another episode that you generally show up at the casting, at the audition, and, it's a room full of people that look kind of similar, and so, there seems to be only a few, and so in the social climb, you want to be able to take classes and you want to get the headshots and you want to be in the scenes of the people who are working. And that costs money. It costs money. Acting classes it costs money. Keeping up your body appearance, hair, body, face, that costs money. And so all these people are making money and you've not made anything yet. And I'm at the point where I'm not leaving the house for less than $300 right now, because I'm getting notices for background. So I've moved, right? So now I'm starting over. But I'm trying to be smart about it. I'm being afforded the time to be smart about this right now. And I'm not leaving the house for $150 for a potential 10 or 12-hour day anymore. You have to pay me upwards of $300 for me to give you, and maybe you show up and it's a 1 to 4 hour day and you've come up. But most of the time it's $150, and you've given these people 10 to 12-hour days. You packed your bag, you put the outfit together, you come camera ready. That's hair and makeup you've done yourself. You're carting a bag of clothes for your role with you. You have to get yourself to set, right? That's gas, that's getting yourself there, and then you sit for upwards of 8 to 12 hours a day to make $150. It's not worth it for me anymore. I need at least 300. So that's where I'm at. So, and then you don't know where your holding is. That's the other thing, right? Am I inside? Do I have a chair? Or am I outside in a fucking parking lot under a canopy, up close with a bunch of other poor schmucks, hoping for the opportunity to act and to be a part. I just got tired of it. It's insane. And so then you've taken the acting classes, and you've maintained your body and all this and that, but you're not booking, or in a case, the industry goes on strike or something happens. And so what do? Well, you start, you open up an acting school in Akron, Ohio. You write a book and sell that shit on Amazon. You create an online course on for the next poor schmuck who wants to be a star. You start a podcast. It's just it's not something. And so for me, I said I've been doing this for a very long time. Even in the Bay Area, when I got laid off, I had my own little radio show, and every now and again I have a couple of flyers left over from that radio show. But this couple had a jazz station. They had a little antenna, and they had put together a website, and they were selling slots where you could come in and create your own radio show. And so I had that beat radio show. It was a global jazz situation. And at that time, like the summer of like 2007, around 2008, I would go for anywhere from Amy Winehouse to Bob James to, Miles Davis. And I had a 2-hour slot. It was a 2-hour live slot on like Saturdays. And so, that's how I stay creative. And so, and I enjoy what I put out. That's the other thing. I really enjoy what I put out. I look forward to getting with a team that helps me put this together in a more professional, sexier way. I'm looking at all these like tools to make your logo pop and all this and that. So I do look forward to some sort of collaboration, and I'm looking for a management to help put all this together for me. If you're in the Georgia area, I would love to talk to you. Maisa in Georgia, MYESAINGA on Instagram and YouTube. because I know how to put this together, and shout out to my friend girl, Leonia, who popped into town from Los Angeles. It was an absolute delight to see her and her family, her mom doing great. She shared that my audio is pretty good, and I've simplified this to the most simplified way. And but that's because I've already bought the audio interface, and I already had the microphone hanging off the freaking whatever. And you don't need all that all the time. You need to start where you're at. And where I'm at is an iPhone in a closet, and I think it sounds great. I feel good doing it. And now that I know how to use, the feature of the voice memo a little bit better, this is where we're at. And so because I know that I can put together something, I need to figure out how to sell it so I can create income for myself. But that's why I do it, because I do enjoy being a creative, and making money from being a creative in Los Angeles is really hard to do. It's really, really hard to do. And I don't believe that you can maintain a full-time job or a bunch of part-time jobs and still be a creative in Los Angeles. You used to be able to, I've been the food server, but then it got to a point where these restaurants were starting to put you on like a double shift, or just give you shifts that they ask you for a schedule, you give them a schedule, and then they still do what they want to do with the schedule, and it just doesn't make sense. And then it's up to you to get with the coworker to try and fix it. What do we do? It's so stupid, and I'm not doing it. So, from 2012 and to 2025, everything was just going downhill. The apartments were trash. I don't wish to hear my neighbors stomping above me, snoring next to me, karaokeing downstairs. It's fucking Memorial Day, or it's like a president's holiday. We're all at home. We all should be able to enjoy our rent. We all should be able to enjoy our space. Why are and you know that we can hear each other, so why are you doing this? It's rude. It's disrespectful. Help out. Neighbors, be a neighbor. Help out. And also, Los Angeles developers, stop building fuck-ass units and or splitting up apartment units or houses and claiming this shit is a legitimate apartment. It's not. It's not. And these landlords are getting away with it. Right? These landlords are getting away with it. And so I was running into that issue. There's no parking. There's no parking. I don't even drive large cars, right? My last car was a Toyota Scion. I'm now driving a older mid BMW sedan. And, it's these apartments, I had nowhere to park her. I had nowhere to park. And then once you do find a parking space, you don't want to move. And so that changes how my movements, because that means that I either have to walk, or I have to catch public transportation, or I have to call a car. And what's the point of that? I have a car. So, and then it got to the point where, okay, let's, this is stupid. I need to get to where I need to go. The grocery store that's closest to me is fuck ass. It's disgusting. The fruits and vegetables are not the best, and I mean to the point where I'm bringing home a fly into my fucking apartment. Like, it's disgusting. So, delivery fees are out of control. Grubhub will get you. If you don't listen, that, I don't know if you know, but you can get, I think, like a free Grubhub subscription or a discounted Grubhub subscription with your Prime membership. you know, I don't know if you know this, but these restaurants, and I don't know if it's Grubhub or if it's the restaurants, but the menu pricing significantly changes. It goes higher when you order from food delivery. I'm a person, I like to do a little, well, now it's pickup. I do 50% cooking, home cooking, and then I do a little, eating out. But if I want to eat at home, I just prefer to pick it up. And when you go into these restaurants, take a look at the pricing. The pricing sometimes is way different on Grubhub or on your delivery app, and they're getting you. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. My last apartment unit, my favorite Italian food restaurant, was in downtown Los Angeles. And I went to go pick that up one time, looked at the menu, and I told them, and I don't know, they came up with some fuck ass reason for it, but I'm tired. I'm tired of having to be vigilant against being taken advantage of at various points. And I feel like in Los Angeles, I was just being taken advantage of at various points. And it wasn't becoming fun. And I'm getting older. My interests and how I want to spend my time and my efforts and my money have changed. And where I used to be in the streets, COVID helped, right? COVID was a game changer for all of us for various reasons. And so I was living in Pasadena at the time. And coming out of COVID, not wanting a commute, I was living a freeway-free lifestyle, getting around and choosing employment that was really no more than 8 or 9 miles away from my home. And that's hard to do. It was really, really hard to do. And again, those are the parameters I was putting myself under, but that's how I want to live my life. I didn't want to have to move to Woodland Hills, Sherman Oaks, Thousand Oaks to have a decent apartment, but then knowing that I was going to have to travel into Los Angeles to work. And to be very honest with you, I think some businesses, they do that shit on purpose because they know that they've got you. They know that they've got you. One time, years ago, I was at a Christmas party, a company Christmas party. When's the last time your company threw a company Christmas party? It's been forever. The perks of life are gone. And so I was at a company Christmas party, dinner or lunch, sitting by one of the big bosses. And one of the salespeople had made mention either they had just bought a home or that the wife was pregnant. And the big boss, under his breath, made mention of, "Oh, we got him." Like, you have a reason to keep getting up and coming to this job and giving to us what we need you to give us. And we're going to throw these crumbs at you to get you to continue to come to work. Online, they were talking about how companies were getting kickbacks from the government for providing snacks for their employees. And a few folks, I love the comment section. Anytime something big happens, I fly Delta to the comment section. Because not only are you going to get the funnies, but, you might even get the truth of what's going on in the comment section. And so, folks in the comment section were unaware that companies are providing snacks and food for their employees. And so others were like, yeah, mostly tech companies. And someone made mention that, yeah, some of these companies are getting catered lunches and dinners every day. Their kitchens are filled with snacks and I mean cereal, snacks, paper plates, forks, espresso machines, coffee variety, tea variety, soft drinks, energy drinks, um, 3 floors of kitchens stocked, but it's also to keep you chained to your desk, right? This has been going on for a while. You have campuses like a Pixar or a Google or a YouTube, and it's a campus because we're trying to keep you working. And so we've installed all of this goodness, a cleaner car wash, maybe some daycare, a little convenience store, or a cute way to get to get your Amazon packages. We've got a little locker situation, a holding situation, so that you can get your packages, so that from your desk you take your ass home, get your little time to relax, and then you bring your ass back. That's what it's for. And so now it comes that these companies are getting subsidized for this from the government. It's a racket. You have to be vigilant in your own life and figure out what you're going to accept and what you won't accept in an effort to get yourself to the next level, whatever that level is for yourself. And if you're happy with the status quo, don't listen to what I have to say. Just get your funnies and keep it moving. But if you're not, you need to get this game. This is game, I'm telling you. And it's because I've lived it. I see it. These are personal accounts. I'm not a person that's like, you ask somebody a question and they give what was, some generalization. I'm giving you a personal account of what is going on in this world, and I'm not here for it. And so living the way that I want to live and having this mindset is what drove me out of Los Angeles proper. And so while I had already lived in the Bay Area for several years and enjoyed my time, that it got small, right? My dating pool got smaller, my social life, I had done it. I was growing up. I wanted something different. And so that sent me to New York. I did that. I enjoyed that. I have beautiful relationships and memories from that time. It brought me back home to Los Angeles. And from 2012 to 2025, this has been my experience. And it's trash. I've been living, but I've been alive, but not living, one or the other. Right? I was alive, but not living. I had no one to date. My job and the living situation weren't, the money I was making was, I don't enjoy going to work and still being broke. It's something about that. It really irks me. And you need to have parking for me as well. I'm not paying for parking at work. It was a job recently. They weren't providing the one campus. They had 2 campuses. The one campus, they did provide a parking pass for them, but it was at a business down the street and around the corner, but they still provided it. The second campus, there was no parking provided for our job. It was a residential neighborhood, a mix of business and residential, but the residential was only 2-hour parking. Right? 2-hour parking. You have 2 different days of street sweeping. Where am I supposed to park? And then you are expecting me to send an email or if I'm going to be late. Well, I wasn't late originally, but I'm late now because I can't find parking because my little spots that I had scoped out for myself are not available, and I don't have time to send this fuck ass email. So what are we doing here, right? This is what drove me out of Los Angeles. This is what drove me out of Los Angeles. It's a racket. It's a racket. And it's odd to me that businesses, landlords, city officials are fuck ass people, everybody's allowed to operate like this. That's why the shit's on fire. That's why the shit's on fire now. Los Angeles is on fire all the time. Not just for, the recent horrific, tragic Palisades and Altadena fires. Los Angeles is a shit show. It's been a shit show for a while. I don't feel special. I don't feel beautiful. I don't feel profitable there. And that's the other thing. There's nothing wrong with me, right? I'm a fairly happy, healthy human being. And there's nothing wrong with me. So at the end of the day, how can I live the life that I want to live? Well, I need to move. And because my life is small, it was just me and a dog, I chose to move. And the dating wasn't necessarily because there's a lot of shitty people to date. I'm not going to say that. I will say is that Los Angeles is spread out. And so it is very easy to fall into a long distance relationship, even though you claim to be living in Los Angeles. Well, one of us doesn't live in Los Angeles, to be very honest. And that's why I keep pinpointing the neighborhoods that I consider Los Angeles proper. If I'm living in Los Angeles and this person is living in the Valley, Inland Empire, Pasadena, Altadena, Lancaster, Valencia, Calabasas, Long Beach, that's a long distance relationship. And it's hard to maintain. It's hard to maintain because that means that there was traffic involved. There was a long commute. There was you had to plan your activities. And who wants to fucking do that every single time? So me not having anybody to date in Los Angeles is not necessarily because towards the end of my time there, I was getting closer and closer to somebody who I thought would make a good partner. And so it happened and serendipitously, I think I'm saying that correctly, I ended up dating a man who lived in Georgia, and Georgia was on the list of places that I could potentially live. I am a particular woman. Even as I get older, I'm even more particular. And there has to be some sex appeal going on. While I also want to live a creative life, I'm still out here middle-aged and I'm social. Nothing is crickety-rickety over here. I've started doing my Peloton and I love it. I don't wish to have a big sausage arm. My apologies if you've got one. I don't want it. I want to keep it tight and right over here. And so I got a head full of hair that needs to get done. Hair and nails need to get kept up. I enjoy being a woman and I enjoy nights out, lunches with my girls and having a nice social scene. I, at some point, want to join a country club or a social club of some sort. So, where can I go? Where can I live this type of life? I'm Hollywood. Listen, I'm a Libra. I'm, Los Angeles is in me, but I'm not, I'm from Los Angeles, but I don't think I'm of Los Angeles. I don't think I have, I don't think I'm a typical LA girl. And so, but I'm still Hollywood. I still love a little glitz, a little glamour. I love fur. I love, the sexiness of life. And so that needs to be, right around the corner, 20, 30 minutes down the highway for me to get to. And, I don't think that this is going to work out in an Arkansas. I'm not really, Kentucky. I mentioned Akron, Ohio. No, I'm not doing it. And so Georgia was on the list because of Atlanta, big media town. And I met somebody. And so in this past year, I was able to make time to come and visit Georgia. And I absolutely love it. It was the best decision of my life. I've been here for a couple of months and I don't regret it. I do not regret it. Um, yeah, yeah, no regrets. And so, yeah, I think we're going to leave it there. And next week, we'll get into how I did it. Because everybody, single woman with a dog moving from California to Georgia. How do you do it? How did I do it? And I'm going to share how I did it in our next episode. So let's take a break and we'll get into our mailbag next. Welcome back to Medium Smart. I'm your host, Maisa in Georgia. Today's mailbag question is a dating question, and it is a tale old as time. As you get older, do you lower your standards for dating in an effort to find a mate? And for me, I say no. My list or my qualities changed, but my standards are high. I am a creative. I thought that I needed to date another creative, and no. So I changed that. I now date a man who has a 9-to-5 job. He has had a 9-to-5 job for many years. That comes with medical, a retirement plan. He gets up every day. He knows what it means to get up every day and show up. And he has worked his way to being a supervisor. And so those qualities matter to me. I need health care. He has health care. Money management matters as you get older. And so whereas, and I don't want to hear about your new beat. I don't want to hear about you in the studio. I don't care about, and that's not true. But are you really making money from that? Is that really, or are you still trying to, 54 years old in the studio is not sexy. It's not sexy. You throwing on your Converse shoes every single day and a baseball cap is not sexy to me. I wanted a man who wore shoes. I wanted a man who, I wanted a man. I was not getting that before. And so while my standards for a man, I wanted somebody who was complementary to my lifestyle. And so this person who is a 9-to-5er likes to travel, right? He knew about the Delta lounges. There are certain niceties that he knows about that I wanted in my life. The way that we move is similar. The way that we want to invest our money is complementary to each other. So what are my skills that could help, that can be matched with his skills to get us to the next level? How we do things is different, but that's with any relationship. This is a completely different human being from me, but his standards are the same as my standards. And we give each other the life in different ways. And so, listen, I know my worth. At 50 years old, I turned 51 in September. I 100% know my worth, and it didn't go down, nor will it go down if this relationship ends. I still have my worth. And so for me to say I'm going to lower my standards to have someone in my life, no. If anything, my standards go higher because I understand the stakes are higher. The stakes are higher. I just moved myself from California to Georgia. I will no longer lower anything for anyone. I did it. I had help, but I did that shit by myself. I packed up an apartment. I packed up a dog. I got the car ready. I mapped out my, I'm going to go into how I did it in the next episode, but I'm a fucking boss. You know what I'm saying? I put this podcast together that now has ads, by the way. I said in the very beginning, I wanted to create something and monetize it because I need income for myself. I'm not working right now. And I don't wish to take on just any old kind of employment, because I don't think I need employment. I need income to fund my lifestyle. And so, and this is off topic, we're supposed to be talking about dating, I'm working on that. But, yeah, this person, my sweetheart that I'm dating, complements my life now and in the future, right? So, no, you do not lower your standards when it comes to dating just because you're getting older. You don't choose anything based off of lack. Nothing should be chosen based off of lack, unless it's like some wine. Somebody once said that they chose, new products on the shelves by how much was left of them as opposed to the other products, if that makes sense. Not necessarily that because it was on sale, but because other customers enjoyed it. And that was kind of their rating. It's an in real life rating of this product. It's not here on the shelves, so people like it. You have to do that in life and in dating. So never lower your standards for anything. It's going to get lonely. It's going to get quiet. Folks are going to come and go. But you are going to be fine. Get into yourself. In those moments, you get into yourself. You learn how to cook, and you learn how to take care of yourself and what to give yourself, so that when you do meet somebody, you have something to offer them, as well as to teach them how to treat you. And I'm in that right now, right? This is we'll kind of go into it maybe in the next episode, or I'll do a whole dating episode of where I'm at. But in those moments of being by yourself, you don't lower your standards. You don't, I'm not a big proponent of casual dating and casual sex. Get a hold of yourself. Get a life. I'm a big fan of getting a life. I'm a big fan of teaching myself, giving to myself what I would like somebody else to give to me. If that makes sense. And then when you do meet somebody, you don't pick from lack, because you gave it to yourself already. I got this. What more can you add? How can this person be an asset to my life? That's how I look at it. No, I do not lower my standards in dating just because I'm getting older. I actually up my standards and I say, how is this person an asset to my life? How am I an asset to their life? Right now, me and my sweetheart give each other life in different ways, but I know I give him life and he gives me life. And so we are working through that to see how we can maintain, and if we want to take it to the next level, which would be marriage. So that's my question. Never lower your standards. We do not choose from lack. Women, we make ourselves available. We do not chase. And that means, if you see a guy you like, just grab him in the biscuits. Digital Underground Sex Packets album. And that's, you don't insult anybody, but don't be afraid to speak first, smile first. You got to let them know that you're interested. And then let them take the lead after that. You make yourself available, but you do not chase. And so that's how I go about that. And men, men show you. If a man is serious, he's going to follow through. He's going to follow through in words and in action. And if he's not, you're going to get no action and confusion. Confusion and no action is your answer. And so you decide if you want to move forward or not. I don't move forward in confusion and no action. I move forward with the person who follows through in actions and in words. And so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed this episode. Myesa in Georgia, Myesainga. I am going to try and start ending the pod with some music or putting like music in the pod because I'm a radio DJ. I DJ in real life. I have records. I have, you can go on Mixcloud, Myesa in LA on Mixcloud. I've got a couple of mixes. I haven't put up a live mix in a minute, but listen, I'm a modern classic. You can throw any of my mixes on from here to eternity, and the party will be turned up and out. So I do want to include a musical element. I don't know how to turn the volume up and down. So once I figure that out, I'm going to start adding some music at the end. Just give you another piece of me, another form of media, another form of entertainment. And so, yeah, I appreciate you. I hope you have a great week ahead, and we'll do it again next week.